Okay, there are so many things. And I was thinking about the core competencies and then thinking about the coaching agreement and active listening. And then the last part of accountability that there were stood up, for me, among other things. But I think that, the one that is the most powerful for me is active listening today. And I'm, thinking of using the client language. And I think that what we heard today, it was having that, marker in the core competency used at the maximum, at a different dimension, on how the coach was able to be attentive of the language that the client is using, and inquiring about that in the moment. So so it was like, pay attention to where your mind is going now. One example that is coming to me, what are you noticing about that? And it was really unbelievable to see the client behaving, and this is also an active listening, behaving in a certain way in the conversation that reflected the way he was doing it in real life. So he was able to see it in the session and then connect it with what is going on in his life, and then the switch happened. So it is it was beautiful to see that, and I'm looking at active listening differently now.
Thank you so much, Alina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So yes, really seeing the depth of the marker active listening, as in using what we see in the present moment and the experience of the client in the moment to be able to learn together with the client around what the client is experiencing and how they're experiencing the moment. Thank you so much, Alina. Chadawan, would you share with us what stood out for you?
Yeah, what I see, very strong direct communication from the coach. Right. In the meantime, when the coach demonstrated the direct communication, he also keep on very strong trust and safety for the client. So the conversation gone very well, and it's so amazing. It's so amazing for me, especially when the coach try to support and work with the client to help him not get back to his challenge again and again. So I obviously see the direct communication and trust and safety that he pray along with the client, and the thing that I also obviously see him as the coach very kind.
Yes.
Very
Beautiful.
empathy. Yeah, right. Thank you.
Thank you. That beautiful balance between the trust and intimacy, which actually enables us to explore further in the direct communication. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right. And finally can change his language.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
Thank
very,
you. Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you.
Radu.
Yeah, I would like to acknowledge the coach for also for coaching presence. I think it was a nice and spectacular way of how he brought the conversation in the present, and using the conversation as a case study to learn from. So it was and this invitation to go in this sort of a case study to help the client reflect on what's happening inside and where the mind is going right now was a very good, let's say, modeling of what the client actually wanted. He wanted to be present. So yeah, a very nice and innovative way to use presence to stay in the present. and brings the client.
Beautiful. Yes, thank you. Beautifully said. Thank you, Radu. Raluca.
Thank you, Azadeh. Today, I remember the strongest, let's say, reason for which I chose CMA 3 years ago, which was something that I resonate a lot with, and this was coaching thing as an opportunity, as a learning. Let's say, I was so used to hear till then coaching for performance, coaching for a lot of other reasons. But what I loved at CMA was that resonates a lot with value that I have, that coaching is for learning. And I think that today it reminds me, this session, about the fact that you can always learn, even in the moment, like the coach did it today with the client. As Chadwan said, I love the way the coach keep the space clean for the client in order to move forward with the process by let's say reminding about the challenge, which has to stay somewhere, parked somewhere, to leave the space for thinking further. And this is another thing that I will take away with me today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I think that is one of the key pointers around here is that, as you mentioned, it's not about necessarily coming to an outcome together with the client and achieving an output or an outcome, but it's about what is that client able to learn about themselves, which interestingly, as that penny drops, the client is able to find out what is necessary, what steps are necessary for them to be able to shift a behavior. So it seems that that is exactly that point, that turning point that enables for a change to occur. Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Raluca. We have Lena here with us as well, and we have Nicoletta as well. Would you like to share with us?
Yes, I want to share something.
Yes, go ahead, Nicoletta.
On top of everything what was said so far, for me, this conversation was an example how you can make the accountability phase more deeper, more tied to the who of the client. And I also was, let's say, intrigued by how the coach agreed with the client. Stop, when I have this sign, stop,
Yes.
to talk about the challenge. And it was a very nice way of recontracting during the coaching agreement phase. So
Beautiful. Thank you,
that's my
Nicoletta. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for that. Thank you. Lena.
Hello, Azadeh. How are
Hi.
you? Hi, everyone. So I think more or less everything was said, but yet I had to agree that what stood for me the most was how the coach was able to mirror the real life of the client in this coaching conversation. It was very obvious how the client started at the beginning, feeling anxious, talking very quickly, not connecting to his true self deeply. And the coach was able, by pausing the client several times, to slow down this conversation and make the client reflect back so he can do this shifting and connect the conversation and this behavior in the real time now with his real life. That was really amazing.
Beautifully said, Lena. Yes, I think today we were really able to observe the power of mirroring. We always speak about how the coach takes the role of the mirror, but today I think it was such a beautiful demonstration and illustration of that importance, that how the client at times is not able to see themselves and the way that they are repeating themselves, or how they are behaving at that moment. Beautiful. Elena?